So, lads, I mean this when I say this. I want all the Stephanie White apologists to come out. Because it's very, very clear that Stephanie White is not the right coach for Caitlin Clark. I don't mean this when I say this. I don't think Stephanie White's a bad coach. In fact, I think Stephanie White's a really good coach. The fact that she was able to pull off a Commissioner's Cup win with the roster that they had, she is a great coach. We are not going to slander Stephanie White's ability to coach right here. But we are going to question Stephanie White's ability to specifically coach Caitlin Clark.
It's the single biggest question in sports right now. A paradox so baffling it feels like a riddle. Why would a team with the most electrifying, culture-shifting shooter in a generation actively tell her to stop shooting? The Indiana Fever were gifted a golden goose, a player who single-handedly shattered viewership records and sold out arenas before her first professional game. They drafted Caitlin Clark to be a game-breaking, defense-bending supernova. Yet, game after game, millions of new fans watch in disbelief as she's benched during crucial moments, turned into a passive decoy on offense, or visibly reined in when she starts to catch fire. For weeks, this was a confusing, frustrating pattern that left analysts and fans grasping for answers. But a recent bombshell confession, delivered not under pressure but in a moment of casual honesty from Clark herself, has exposed the shocking truth. This isn't an accident. It's not a rookie slump. It's a deliberate, systematic strategy from her own head coach. A strategy that might be sabotaging the biggest star the sport has ever seen and committing brand suicide in the process.
Well, the cat is out the bag, man. Now, I told y'all, I was one of the first people to let it be known. Head coach Stephanie White is so against Caitlin Clark. It's clear as day. And it's very much clear as day that this front office dropped the ball in hiring her to be Caitlin Clark coach. I'm telling you right now. Stephanie White do not want Caitlin Clark to shoot the ball. It's clear as day. She want to run this motion offense. And quite frankly, Caitlin either need to get the hell out of Indy or the front office need to make it their business to hire a new coach, man.
Let's take a listen to this. This is, by the way, during the New York Liberty game. This is during the New York Liberty game. During the Liberty game. Let's take a listen. Or, well, sorry, not during, about the Liberty game. This is the game where Caitlin Clark hit five threes in the first half. This is the game where Caitlin was on like an all-time heater and then randomly she just stopped shooting. Like, that is the thing. That is the thing that happened. She randomly just stopped shooting while she was on an all-time heater. She was on an all-time heater and she just randomly stopped shooting.
The truth finally came out, not in a heated post-game press conference, but during a relaxed podcast interview where Clark's guard was finally down. Speaking with Pat McAfee's crew, she was asked about the mindset of a pure shooter. She described that incredible feeling, the pure instinct that takes over when a couple of shots go in, how your confidence soars until you feel absolutely unstoppable. Then, almost as an afterthought, she dropped the line that sent shockwaves through the entire WNBA landscape. She admitted that after hitting 2 shots in a row, she feels an undeniable, instinctual urge to launch a third, even if that third shot is, in her own words, not advised by your coach. The clip went viral within minutes. In that one carefully worded phrase, the entire puzzle clicked into place for millions of viewers. The whispers about the coaching staff became a deafening roar. This was the smoking gun, the confirmation that the strange offensive lulls, the bizarre second half disappearing acts, weren't a bug in the system, they were a feature.
So I had a film breakdown prepared today, but I'm actually going to go a different direction. This is a rant because we have to talk about the state of this Indiana Fever team, and I'm here to bring the reality to all you Fever fans. This team is not a championship team. They're not a championship team. They're nowhere near close to a championship team because every team that is a championship team can play defense. This Indiana Fever team has no defense, and that's like the farthest of their problems. Their offense looked really bad today, and Caitlin Clark obviously didn't shoot the basketball well, but I'm not going to blame this loss on Caitlin Clark, even though obviously they would have won if she would have shot the ball well. My whole thing is you were up when Caitlin Clark wasn't shooting the ball well. You had a double-digit lead in that first half while Caitlin Clark was clanking every single three. She was 2 for 9.
On Caitlin Clark, man. Now, Caitlin Clark went on Sue Bird podcast and dropped major gems, bro. She let it be known that Stephanie White do not want her to shoot threes. Yes, this is not clickbait. Oh, my goodness, guys. Check this out.
So professionally, like that Liberty game, I feel like as a shooter, like when you see like 2 or 3 go in, especially like for me, like if I have 2 back to back in a row, like I'm probably gonna launch a third that maybe isn't advised by
For
Steph,
sure.
but like I gotta get it up. And then if the third goes in, like you're just hot. I think as a shooter, like your confidence just builds and builds and builds. It's just coming off your hand better.
This wasn't just a hypothetical comment about a coach's advice. Viewers had already witnessed this bizarre philosophy play out in horrifying real-time detail during a now infamous game against the New York Liberty. In the first half, Caitlin Clark was a human inferno. She was pulling up from the logo, draining contested, demoralizing three-pointers that broke the spirit of the defense. She hit 5 of them, each one more audacious than the last. The arena was electric, buzzing with the energy of a signature, game-breaking performance that defined her entire college career. This was the show everyone had paid to see. It was exactly what the Fever and the entire league had drafted her for. And then the second half started. The inferno was extinguished. The fire was put out not by the Liberty's defense, but seemingly by her own team's playbook. Clark, who couldn't miss just minutes earlier, suddenly stopped getting the ball in positions to score. The offense shifted to a series of slow, plodding handoffs that ended with her as a spectator. She took only a handful of shots for the rest of the game, becoming a ghost in an offense that grew stagnant, predictable, and easy to guard. The Fever's lead evaporated, and they lost a game they had once completely controlled. Now everyone understood why. This wasn't a player going cold. This was a coach deliberately pulling the plug.
Make a decision. Y'all want to keep making all this damn money off me, or do y'all can make money off her being a coach? Pick one. Pick one. What are we doing here? This was trash. We got popped. We got smoked by the Valkyries. Smoked. We down 20 at home. We down a dub at home. This front office is a joke. I don't know how they even let Timmy Fagbenle walk away. We didn't protect her. Bro, this front office is a joke. This coach is even more of a joke. A pure clown is what this coach is.
Why not? Stephanie White, why not? It always works. 2 defenders are always going to go with Caitlin Clark. There should never be a play where Caitlin Clark brings the ball up the court and then she passes it and she runs off the playoff ball. Every single possession, there should be a screen, whether it be a Leah Boston, whether it be a Kelsey Mitchell who's going to cut, whether it be Natasha Howard, literally any player. They set Caitlin Clark a screen at the top of the key, and off that, your whole offense should function. I don't care what Stephanie White wants to do with this motion offense thing. Literally, all you have to do every single time you have a practice is worry about what to do after the double team.
So who is the architect behind this bewildering game plan? Her name is Stephanie White, and to be perfectly clear, she isn't some unqualified coach who stumbled into the job. Far from it. She's a highly respected figure in the WNBA, a former champion as a player, and a coach who has had notable success, even winning the league's Coach of the Year award in 2015 with this very same Indiana Fever franchise. This is precisely what makes the situation so maddening and complex. This isn't a simple story of incompetence that can be easily dismissed. It's a story of a disastrous philosophical mismatch, a fundamental conflict in basketball ideology. Coach White is a purist, known for her deep love of structured, complex motion offenses. Her system is a meticulous machine where every player is a cog, constantly moving and passing to create what she deems a good shot. It's a system built on discipline, patience, and equality. But Caitlin Clark isn't an equal part. She is a force of nature, an offensive supernova whose mere presence on the court bends the defense to her will. You don't put a supernova into a pre-built machine. You build the entire machine around its incredible gravitational power.
Saying this late last year in November when the Indiana Fever hired Stephanie White. I never thought I'd be saying this right now, only 19 games into the 2025 season, that it's time for Stephanie White to go. The Indiana Fever needs to fire Stephanie White. This is not going to work. What we're seeing is not going to work. It's just not going to work.
Hi, I'm Stephanie White, head coach of the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark, and I'm a complete clown. I'm a clown. That is what I am as a head coach. I am a clown. I am ruining Caitlin Clark. I have no idea what I'm doing as a coach. I have no idea what I'm doing. I've been sent here on a mission to ruin Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. And I think I'm doing a masterful job because I suck. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I actually have no idea how I got this job in the first place. I don't know how I got this job in the first place. I am a clown.
What we are witnessing is a cold war between a rigid old-school system and a revolutionary generational star. The Indiana Fever effectively drafted a Ferrari, a marvel of modern engineering built for unparalleled speed and performance, and they are forcing it to obey the rules of a school zone. Instead of unleashing Clark in the pick and roll and letting her cook with the ball in her hands, the offense is a slow-burn crock-pot of dribble handoffs, off-ball screens, and passes designed to get her to give up the ball as quickly as possible. Fans and analysts have clipped countless plays where Clark brings the ball up the court only to immediately pass it away and run to the corner, becoming a glorified decoy while less effective players initiate the offense. This is coaching malpractice. Fans didn't tune in by the millions to watch Caitlin Clark become a decoy. They came for the logo threes, the pull-up jumpers in transition, and the gravitational pull that sucks in 2 or 3 defenders at a time, leaving her teammates wide open for easy layups. Her so-called bad shots are statistically more efficient than many other players' good shots. Yet, the playbook seems terrified of this reality, opting for a safer, slower, and profoundly less effective style of basketball that looks more like it belongs in the early 2000s than in the modern era.
So Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever fans are having a meltdown about they god Stephanie White that they wanted so bad, man. So I've been seeing the takes, man. So now they want Caitlin Clark to demand a trade, or they want the front office to pick between Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White, man. I'm not going to say I tried to tell y'all, man, but it's just like, I was trying to tell y'all, man, like Stephanie White is not this god that y'all was making her out to be, man. You know, Christy, like I'm not even here to...
Stephanie White yesterday reduced Caitlin Clark to a role player. She turned a star into a role player like we've never seen before. While Tyler Marsh is trying to turn Angel Reese into a star, Stephanie White is trying to turn Caitlin Clark into a role player. Let that sink in.
This conservative, risk-averse approach doesn't just put a ceiling on Caitlin Clark's box score, it poisons the entire team's potential and psychology. When your most explosive and confident player is forced to play with the emergency break-on, a culture of hesitation and uncertainty starts to trickle down to everyone on the roster. Other players become tentative, passing up open looks while waiting for the perfect shot that the system rarely generates. This has a direct and devastating impact on the team's other star, all-star center, Aaliyah Boston. Boston is a dominant force in the paint with incredible footwork, but she needs space to operate. That space is supposed to be the gift created by Clark's deep shooting threat. When Clark is relegated to the perimeter as a passive observer, defenders can sag off her, clog the lane, and completely neutralize Boston, grinding the entire offense to a halt. A shackled Clark doesn't just mean fewer points for her, it means a crowded, suffocating court for everyone else. The entire team is playing not to make mistakes, which is a guaranteed recipe for losing.
Well, you gotta get the hell up out of here, bro. Pack your shit. Pack your shit, bro. No, I'm not even playing that game, bro. No, I'm not doing that. Pack your bags right now. Stephanie White gotta go. You gotta go. You are a clown of a coach, a pure clown of a coach, bro. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? You got the best point guard in the world, and you have her playing small forward. You got her playing small forward, bro. What are we talking about here? This is like Mike D'Antoni having this 7 seconds or less Phoenix Suns and saying, hey, Steve Nash, go stand in a corner. We want Quentin Richardson to bring the ball up. Man, get out of here. Man, this is trash.
This leads to an even more uncomfortable but critical question. Why would a smart, experienced Coach of the Year winning coach intentionally run an offense that is so obviously counterproductive and limits her best players? The most explosive theory, the one whispered in online forums and debated by analysts, has nothing to do with X's and O's. It might have everything to do with something far more volatile, human emotion and professional jealousy. Caitlin Clark didn't just join a team, she became the face of the entire league overnight, a rookie commanding more attention than established veterans who have been grinding for years. Some have speculated that the share the ball motion offense isn't just a basketball strategy, but a political one, a desperate attempt to manage egos and placate other players in the locker room who may feel overshadowed. Is the coach trying to prevent an internal meltdown by artificially spreading the ball around, even if it directly leads to losing games? Is this an attempt to prove that her system is more important than any one player? It raises an uncomfortable but critical question. Are these coaching decisions based on what's best for the team on the court, or what's necessary to maintain a fragile peace behind closed doors? If so, the problem is far deeper and more toxic than anyone imagined. The Indiana Fever are now at a critical, franchise-altering crossroads. They are facing a dilemma that will define their future for the next decade. On one side, they have a respected veteran coach with a clear, disciplined system she fundamentally believes in. On the other, they have a transcendent talent, a player who doesn't fit neatly into a system because she is the system. The two are on a collision course, and the wreckage is piling up with every frustrating game and every wasted possession. The greatest coaches in history, like Phil Jackson with the Chicago Bulls, understood this dynamic. Jackson didn't walk in and force Michael Jordan, the greatest scorer alive, to become a pass-first role player. He implemented the triangle offense specifically because it created a framework that would unleash Jordan's brilliance while also elevating his teammates. Jackson adapted his system to his star, not the other way around. The Fever must now decide whether they want to win with Stephanie White's philosophy or dominate with Caitlin Clark's brilliance, because it's become painfully clear they cannot do both. The entire sports world and the countless new fans she brought with her are watching, waiting to see which one they choose.